Natural physics is a concept astrophysicist LeRoy developed that explains in down-to-earth scenarios how the principles of physics could have come about from observing nature. Each episode begins with a scenario, followed by an example to illustrate the application of these principles in futuristic research at the frontiers of science, such as LeRoy's astrophysics doctoral research at CINESPA, Center for Space Research, and then concludes with an exploration of how these same principles could have very well been used by ancient cultures and civilizations. Mathematics is naturally encountered and incorporated as the exciting and fun tool of science that it is. Science is the window into our amazing world of nature, and mathematics is the tool to open that window. Natural physics encompasses current, futuristic, and ancient physics, and ties them together by the principles of physics that are common threads running throughout each.
Good morning, everybody. I'm LeRoy, and welcome to Natural Physics, live from the territory of the Borucas, the Diqui Delta. We are here for sunrise with the spheres on equinox. And season 2, our slogan, excuse the double pun, is going to be rocking and rolling with the spheres. Get it? All right. Now, we had planned to be at Finca's archaeological site with the two spheres that are aligned east and west to catch sunrise coming up with those two spheres. Now, couple of problems with that. Number one, we found out yesterday that this is the fall equinox today. Well, it's the spring equinox and the sun is aligned with those two spheres. So that's going to be in April. So we'll be back. Okay. But, and another thing too is the museum is not open during this time period this early morning. So we wouldn't be able to go. But see, now we know. Okay. But where we are in the Park of the Spheres. It's called Parque de Espedas, and it's we're actually about a 10-minute drive. We went to the archaeological site yesterday, and in our next episode, we're going to be showing photographs of those two spheres that are aligned east and west that we'll be back in April for. And we took a lot of pictures. We took video. We're going to be showing those film clips in our next episode. But right now, we are in the territory of the Boruca. And another thing that we found out about a month ago, that unfortunately the community has a lot of individuals of the Boruca community have contracted COVID. So the village is basically locked down until further notice. No tourism, no visitors, nothing like that. Nothing, honey. So yeah, and that was the main thing, everybody, right? To come down here and to, by the way, over my shoulder, you see the sun coming up. And here, let me raise the computer up a little bit. Actually, there's a sphere. See that sphere behind me? Let's see. Yeah, that's a big one. And this park is full of spheres. Yeah, it's the Park of the Spheres in Palma Sur, not far from the Boruca village. And so, and another reason why I had wanted to do sunrise with those two spheres that are in the ground is because they're still in their original positions, right? They haven't been moved. So all the spheres in this park, obviously they've been moved, right? But hey, it's the next best thing to being at the archaeological site. And like I said, we will be there in April, and hopefully, what? Let me back up. I don't know if I want to ever do sunrise again. I know there's not many of y'all that are probably with us at early this morning, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of rough. So we will be back in April. I'm not gonna say we'll be there for sunset, but we will definitely try to do a broadcast from those two spheres that are oriented east and west. Now, hopefully, um, we have a guest from the Borucas village that may be able to join us. She is the director of the Borucas Indigenous Community Museum. So, okay, it's 5:23. Let's just pause for the cause. Where sunset is 5:24, sunset. Sunrise is 5:24, 5:25, 5:26. I'm gonna shut up and let's just watch the sunrise behind me. And I'm gonna take the computer and walk around this park and show y'all the different spheres as the sun is coming up. Okay, so hang with me and let's do that. Okay, and then when we come back, we'll continue with the show. So let's enjoy sunrise at Park of the Spheres in Palma Sur, the Key Delta, the territory of the Borucas. Okie dokie, here we go. All right, I'm gonna walk around. I'm gonna put the computer in front of me so y'all can see. Ray, all knowing, all seeing Ray, please let me know if you can't see anything. Okay, I hope you can see the sphere that's behind me. I'm gonna walk around the park. Okay, it's a beautiful park. It's a beautiful park. You can see sunrise coming up. Hope you can see sunrise there. Uh, okay. Here's another sphere.
Hello,
Okay.
LeRoy. I'm so happy to be back in natural physics.
Mariela, hey, thank you, Mariela. Hey, thank you for joining us. All right, everybody, you remember Mariela from last season. Okay. All right, Mariela, you know what? Let me know. Can you see this sphere? Okay.
Yes, and let me tell you what, I can feel your positive
Okay.
vibe in that place.
You can feel my positive vibe. Oh,
Right,
Mariela,
absolutely.
the energy here is unbelievable. I mean, it's just I can't really put my finger on it, but there's an energy here that just
Uh-huh.
pervades, and I want to use that word. It just pervades the whole area. I mean, these people here, the ones that we've met, are so cool. They're so
Uh-huh.
mellow. I mean, it's just a different vibe down here than up in up in Huachipalin, up in the Central Valley, and and for
Yes.
Costa Rica to be such a small country and to have such a diversity of unbelievable cool stuff. I mean, the people, the spheres. Okay, I'm going to another sphere, and
I
whoop, I
definitely have
almost
to go there.
slipped. That would
I
not have
wish
been.
I were there.
Oh, we're coming back April because this is the deal. Is that you figure April 6 months from now? I would imagine that by then, the situation with the village, it'll be
Yes.
okay. I would actually for the whole world. I hope in 6 months. Uh, there's Tirza. Say hi, baby. Marielle and Ray both said
Hi.
hi, babe.
Hi,
Okay.
Teresa.
All right. Okay. So this was like a road trip for me and Tir. I haven't been anywhere in months. I mean, I haven't gone anywhere. So this is our first trip in many, 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 many moons. But what a trip! I mean, this is great. And now that we know, we've come down here and we found out where to go and what the situation is. Next trip, it'll be we know exactly how to roll. Excuse the pun again, rocking and rolling with the sphere. Okay, so now I'm just gonna pan around. I think I spheres. Oh, there's one more over here. Yeah, this park is full of spheres. Everywhere you go, here there's spheres. I mean, this is the land of the balls, Mariela. Like you said back when the
Awesome.
conquistadors came here
Mhm.
and those groups came to this little area to gather in the land of the balls. This is it. Oh, without a doubt, this is it. Okay,
Awesome.
so I think that's about all the spheres. There's the sun coming up there towards the east, and it's so peaceful and quiet here. Oh, it's beautiful. And when we went to the museum yesterday, yeah, I took pictures, and they'll be in the clips for next episode. But it's just the people here, their energy is so friendly, so welcoming. I can't wait to meet Borucas. I just I'm so looking forward to meeting them. And okay, so I'm gonna go back to where I was at. But I'm gonna do a 360, everybody. I'm gonna just do a slow 360 of this park that we're in, and and like I said, come April, we'll be we'll be at the archaeological site. But next episode, you'll see the pictures of us from yesterday where we went and we saw not only the two spheres that are aligned east and west, but there's other spheres there. There's other archaeological objects, and it's just
Mhm.
amazing. I keep saying that in that tenth of a kilometer, it's just amazing that that's the only place on Earth so far
What,
that these amazing
Leroy?
art, these ama-
Leroy,
I'm sorry,
what
Mariela, what'd you?
kind of what kind of archaeological objects, like tools
Oh,
or
there's some.
ornaments?
There's with the spheres. There's these.
Uh-huh.
They're like Stonehenge. There's these vertical rocks that are in
Uh-huh.
the ground, and they're like statues, but they're like mini Stonehenge blocks. They're not as big as the Stonehenge blocks, but they're vertical. They look like they could have been, if you would have carved them, they could be a person, but they're just vertical blocks that are in the ground with with
Um,
with these spheres. Yeah, and I mean you feel them. They're just as dense, and they're in the ground. I mean you can't move them. You can't move them whatsoever, and it's just uh I didn't know that there was other structures here in
I
addition to
didn't
the
know either.
spheres. So yeah, I will show those pictures next time. So
Yes.
everybody, now the sun is up. So now what we're gonna do? Let's see what time it is. Um, okay,
5:31.
okay, 5:31. All right. So uh, we have a couple of options. Um, we have a video, a half-hour video that summarizes. Oh, can y'all red macaws here in Costa Rica? There's these. They're red. They're like parrots, but they're called
Right.
macaws, and they're red.
Macas, right.
And there's
Hmm.
always two of them, right? And there's always two of
Okay.
them, right? There's always, you never see one by uh him or herself. And what's funny is when they're flying, it sounds like they're arguing, like ah, rah, rah, rah,
Yes,
rah, rah,
right.
rah, rah. It sounds like the average married couple, right? Flying and arguing, right? I'm being funny, but yeah, I mean, hey, whether they're four-legged, tails, feathers, they're people
Mhm.
too. They're just like us. They have their personalities. And what's so interesting about these red macaws is with all their arguing with each other, they still stick together. I mean, you always see two of them lying together. So that's what it's about, huh? I mean, we're all different. We have our personalities. We argue with each other, the ones we love. It's just natural. But we need to do like the macaws, and no matter what, just stick together. Okay. All right. So, so I don't know if the lady from the museum is going to be able to join us. And I tell you what, Mariela, um, would you
Tell me.
mind telling a little bit about how teaching has been going during this period of trying to deal with this pandemic? How you teachers, y'all are the heroes. I mean, in my opinion, I mean, y'all are the ones that's working through this time of difficulty, and you're keeping the children, which is are the future. You're doing what you can to keep them educated under such unbelievable circumstances. Would you mind
Right.
describing a little bit? Because we can
Okay.
play this
First
half
of all,
hour anytime. Yeah. Okay.
first of all, let me tell you that I love to see the sun on your back.
Thank you.
It's awesome.
Thank
I
you.
love it. I really love it. Yes, it's awesome.
Thank you
Well,
so much,
uh,
Mary.
it has been a hard year. It has been a hard year, I have to tell, in many aspects. It's hard being telling students to wear their masks because, of course, they have been at home, or some of them go out and play and live life like if nothing was happening. So you have to tell them, okay, don't be together. You can share food. A few days ago, one student gave a pineapple to another one, and I saw it and I said, "No, you can't share food. Come on!" And thank God that I saw it at the time. But it's hard. You have to tell them wear the mask, wash your hands, don't put your hands on your face. But then what has changed that I have to mention because it affects or affected my process, the process that I have been living in the last 20 years, is that, for example, the first grade students, when they come to school, when they come to first grade, they already know how to behave or what to do in classes in school. But this year they don't know because they didn't go to, I mean, they didn't have the best uh, process in preschool. So
Mm,
they don't know
yes.
how to make lines, they don't know how to be sitting, they just want to play because they didn't have that process. They skipped that process out of school, which is very
Wow.
important, of course, the preschool. So this year I have spoken in Spanish. I almost have to teach in Spanish that I never did before.
Wow.
Yes,
Wow. So this was a
it's
big switch
totally
up for
changed.
you too, huh?
Right, absolutely.
Wow.
Hmm.
And
Absolutely different.
and I I've watched news programs that have talked about not only educationally the impact on the young people, but psychologically, emotionally, not being able to be with their friends. I mean, that's
Hmm.
taken out a lot. When you're a kid, your friends are
Hmm.
pretty much your world, right? Peer pressure and
Right.
all, which is not good. Peer pressure and all that. That's not cool. But to take that away from the kids, where that's such an important part of their development, the impacts of having to be isolated are just so far reaching. It's just it's unreal the impact that this has
Hmm.
had all world on the students, on the young people.
Absolutely. But also, it is important to mention that, well, most of the times kids, they hug you, or they give you a candy, or they show you love in these ways, and now they can't. And this is weird. They don't know how
Wow.
to react. They don't know how to behave in this aspect. They don't know how to show love. So
Wow.
the emotional um, aspect is being affected. Absolutely.
Wow. That's just
Yes.
that's so scary. And how
Yes.
I mean,
Hmm.
we have we have psychologists and
Hmm.
psychiatrists, right? But
Hmm.
you teachers, you are going to be the ones, the psychologists and the psychiatrists that are going to have to, I guess, figure out a way to try to get the kids back on track, huh? Emotionally and
Hmm.
psychologically, try to help them get over this period where they
Hmm.
weren't able to interact with each other.
Right.
I don't even know how.
Right.
Wow,
Hmm.
wow. I mean, that's quite a that's 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 quite a task. That's quite something that, I mean, we all know that teachers don't just teach. I mean, you are babysitters, your psychologists, your social workers. You have to
Hmm.
deal with a whole lot of stuff in addition to just teaching. So here
Right.
we have a whole generation of, yeah, a whole generation of kids that lost out on a year and a half or almost 2 years of normal life. And
Hmm.
you think we'll ever be able to get them back to how they were before all this happened?
Well, I think we're gonna learn a new life, a new reality, but nothing is gonna be like it was, like it used to be. I don't think so.
Yeah. Yeah,
But now it is
yeah,
different.
I
And
agree.
what affects to children in the early years, it's gonna last forever.
That's unfortunately true, isn't it? I mean, those are
Hmm.
scars that are going to be there all forever, huh? I mean, they're never going to go away. Man, wow, how
Right.
devastating. I mean, it's just wow. It's yeah, life is different. I guess you know how they say BC and AD, to kind of tell, to reference time frames in history. I wonder if they'll
Hmm.
start doing BC meaning before COVID and
Right.
AC after COVID. I don't know. I mean,
Right.
this is the whole world. The whole world is changed. Um, and just as an adult, when you
Hmm.
wear your mask where you can't see a person smile. I mean, we've all
Hmm.
had rough days, right? Where you just nothing's going right, and you're walking, and if you pass another person, and if they just smile at you, they don't have to say
Right.
anything, but if they just give you a little smile, it just changes up
Hmm.
everything. You could be having the
Right.
most rough day, but if somebody just smiles at you that you don't even know, just a stranger passing on the street, it just it helps you. And to
Right.
wear masks where you can't see people, you can't see them smile. Yeah, that's rough as an adult. I mean, it's just a whole nother world.
And
Okay,
nowadays,
it's
you don't even know each other. We don't even
yeah,
recognize
it
each
doesn't look
other.
like. Uh, isn't that the truth? That's the truth.
Right.
That's the truth.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's it's just it's a whole nother world. And being down here, uh and we've met some great people. I mean, just down to earth, just genuinely good people, right? Just awesome energy. And we will be coming back. um the sun is up, you can see it coming
Yes.
up.
Yes.
and uh
Yes. We can see it.
And so and you know the thing about the people that we've talked about, we met a person yesterday that
Uh-huh.
there's a sphere located close to his house, and some kind of way the top one third of uh it got sliced off. uh and he told us in Spanish, but we understood what he was saying. He said
Mhm.
that he wants to start a project to try to put that piece back on that sphere and make it whole again. You'll meet him in the film clips that we'll show next episode. The people here, they definitely have a reverence, and I want to use the word. They have a reverence
Mhm.
for the spheres, and it's part of their culture, part of their pride. And this guy, he has like one of those little stands that he sells coconuts, where you can
Uh-huh.
get coconut milk to drink. I mean, real coconuts, right? Where they take a machete and cut the top off and then put a straw in it, and you're drinking
Uh-huh.
real coconut milk. So he has this little corner coconut place right across from where these spheres are. And like I said, one of them, he wants to do that. So here you got somebody who's not an archaeologist. I, I'm just gonna make a guess that he uh uh probably don't know if he has a high school education, but he's still very
Mhm.
intelligent. That common sense, that good human intelligence that you don't get from books. You don't get almost from you just naturally have it. So for him to say that he is gonna take it upon himself to try to put this sphere back together, that pretty much made our trip. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Awesome. That's awesome. Wow.
It, yeah, you'll meet him. Oh, his yeah, you we have his name, contact information.
Mhm.
You'll meet him because, like I said, we're coming back. Um, okay, it's 5:45, and like I said, me and Mariela, we had no problem keep going. But you think you think we should just you think we should play the half hour of last season? It's a pretty good half hour. uh why don't we do that, huh? Because next episode is going to be all film clips and footage from our trip here, and we got a lot, believe me.
Wow.
So
Wow.
Mariella, if there's anything else you would like to talk about, please go ahead.
Well, I am really awesome. Well, I see how you are enjoying this, and I really want to recall that, because not only the beautiful place where you are, the beautiful park, but I really see your excitement, your and Teresa's, and I can feel it, and it's awesome. So I don't imagine the
Thank
energy you're feeling there.
Thank you. And like I said, now this was like outing trip. It worked out perfectly, right? We didn't know. Can you imagine if all of us would have come down here and found out that we couldn't go to the archaeological site this early in the morning because it's not open, and
Hmm.
also the fact that we couldn't visit the Boruca this time. But like I said, hey, we will be back, and we know just exactly how to roll. So it's just a
Hmm.
matter of time before we meet the Badukas, and we're gonna explore more of this area when we come back. Nobody's going anywhere, right? The sphere going anywhere. The Baduka aren't going anywhere. We're not going anywhere. We'll be back. So why don't we roll that half hour summary of last season? I tried to make it as entertaining as possible, like where people would just sit down and watch a half hour TV show in the evening. So Ray, if you could roll that half hour, And oh, and everybody, we're gonna be coming to you a week from Friday. Not this Friday. We're gonna switch from Wednesday to Fridays. So we will be coming back a week from this Friday. The day's the 22nd, 24th. So I guess that's either the 31st of September or 1st of October. I think September has 30 days. So that's probably going to be the 1st of
Right,
October
right.
when we come back for episode 2. Okay, it is October 1st. Okay, so everybody, we will see you October the 1st at 1 p.m. Same fat time, different fat day, same fat channel. So Ray, if you would, please roll that half hour. Mariela, thanks so much for getting up. I will not be doing sunrise again. Well, I don't know. Maybe in April. No, maybe not. But anyway, anyway, thank you so much for joining us. And
Thank you so much, LeRoy.
we got season 2. Thank you, Mariela. We got season 2. We're rolling. So Mariela, I hope you enjoy this half hour. Everybody enjoy this half hour summary of season 1. And we will see you October the 1st. Fat time, fat channel. Okie dokie. All right. Thank you,
Thank you.
Mariela.
Bye. Thank you.
Greetings. I'm LeRoy Larry, and welcome to Natural Physics, coming to you live from Costa Rica.
Awesome. Wow. Okay.
Hey, I have a question. May I ask a
Yes.
quick question?
Of course.
I'm wondering,
Anytime.
do these spheres, do they only exist in Costa Rica, or are they in other countries in Central America?
To my knowledge, only in Costa Rica. I mean, nowhere else in the world. Isn't that unreal? Only in Costa Rica. In terms of this particular kind of sphere, only Costa Rica. Yes. Okay.
Thank you.
Now, I mentioned my first encounter was on the university, the campus of the University of Costa Rica. There's the picture of me with that sphere. It's one of my favorite all-time pictures. I mean, it's my first encounter with an ancient enigma, a mystery that no one has solved. And as I stood there leaning up against it, I thought to myself, in ancient times, who could have moved this? How many people would it take to move this, to even roll it an inch? I mean, it's so massively solid. It really is. And I thought, how much could this weigh? I mean, really, what could it weigh? Physics and mathematics will allow us to get a good idea of the weight of that sphere that I'm standing next to without the use of a scale, without having to try to lift it. In physics, there's an equation that says the mass of this sphere is going to be equal to its density times its size or volume. So if we can get the density and the volume, we got a good shot at least having a ballpark guess at how much it might weigh. Okay, this is without lifting it, using a scale. We're going to use physics and mathematics. Okay, so now we got the equation from physics. Let's use mathematics. Now, this sphere, we're going to make an assumption here that it's perfectly spherical in shape. I mean, who knows how long ago it was made, right? Thousands of years ago. Let's call it a sphere. I mean, I don't know how it was done, but let's just give credit to whoever did this sphere. Let's call it a perfect sphere. So in geometry, there's equations that will tell us, if we know the radius of this sphere, they'll tell us what the circumference of it is, the surface area, and the volume. So we need to get the radius of this sphere. And we're not going to drill a hole down in it. No way. It's a priceless artifact from the past. You don't damage those objects. Okay, so let's see. Okay, the picture of me standing next to it. I'm about 6'3", okay? 6 feet 3 inches tall. So let's just say that sphere is about 6 feet tall, okay? Okay, so now let's convert that to meters. 6 feet is about 1.8 meters, and we need the radius. So, oh, let me go back. We said that its height is 1.8 meters. Well, because it's a sphere, we can also say that its diameter is also its height, okay? So now we can say that the diameter of this sphere is 1.8 meters, and so the radius is half of that, which is 0.9 meters. So we have the radius. Oh, we're rolling. Okay, so the equation in geometry that will give us the circumference of this sphere says that the circumference is equal to 2 times pi, which is 3.14, times the radius. So if you plug in those numbers, you get that the circumference of this sphere is about 6 meters around. Okay? Now let's move on to the surface area. The equation in geometry says, my mouth is getting a little dry, so excuse me if I start to sound a little, okay. The surface area is 4 times pi times the radius squared. We plug in those numbers, we get the surface area of this sphere is about 10 square meters. Now for the volume, which is what we're really looking for, right? The equation from geometry says that the volume of this sphere is 4/3 times pi times the radius cubed.
And most important of all, we could get the volume, which came out to be 3 cubic meters, which means that if you had 3 squares that were each 1 meter all the way around, 3 of those cubic meters would fit into our sphere.
Okay, we have the volume. Now, the density. I looked it up, and this particular sphere is made out of the rock gabbro, Gabbro. And the average density of the rock gabbro is 3 grams per cubic centimeter, okay? Now, that's solid. And we need to work in the MKS system, meter, kilogram, second. So we need to convert that 3 grams per cubic centimeter to kilograms per cubic meter. And that comes out to be 3,000 kilograms per cubic meters. That's immense, right? Okay, so we get, if we multiply the density of our sphere by its volume, we get a mass for it of 9,300 kilograms. And we were able to get it by not having to move it. Oh, by the way, another assumption that was made was that the density of it is going to remain pretty constant all the way throughout. And I don't think it's hollow. So I did make the assumption that its density all the way throughout is 3,000 kilograms per cubic meter, okay? I made certain assumptions just to get a ballpark idea of how much this magnificent specimen, this artifact from ancient times might weigh. And again, I continue to think, how could it have been moved? What did these people move? What did they use to move? Notice that these equations we use from physics, algebra, geometry, they enabled us to get an idea of this object without having to drill into it, destroy it, break it apart, without trying to lift it. Equations, that's what mathematical equations do for us. Until somebody else comes up with something better or different, that's what we have to try to understand the amazing phenomena that occur all around us in nature. Mathematical equations. The sights you see, the sounds you hear, there's mathematical equations that try to describe those phenomena. And they were obtained by somebody doing a whole lot of experimentation.
So that's the next question I would like to add to the mix is what is it about Costa Rica that is so unique and special in all the world that whatever mysterious race using whatever mysterious techniques they had picked this little bitty part of planet Earth to make these unbelievably mysterious, amazing specimens of engineering and science and physics and math. We came up with a mass for our sphere of 9,300 kilograms. When you want to go from kilograms to pounds, 1 kilogram is about 2.2 pounds. So if we use that, we get, if we multiply 9,300 by 2.2 pounds, we get the value of our sphere in pounds, the weight of it. And I don't remember what that number is, but 1 ton is equal to 2,000 pounds. So when we divide the number that we got by multiplying 9,300 by 2.2 to get that amount in pounds, if we divide that by 2,000, we get a weight of our sphere of about 10 tons. And it falls within the range of the weights that are given in the literature. This points to the ancient knowledge that definitely ancient peoples had that definitely has been forgotten or lost. They knew how to work with the earth, with nature. And this show, Natural Physics, part of it is about reconnecting with that knowledge. This specially built tow truck is moving at a velocity of 2 miles per hour, which equates to about 3 feet per second, which equates to about 1 meter per second. So this specially built tow truck is just inching along with the Endeavor on it, on its way from LAX to the California Museum of Science. Now, the Endeavor space shuttle weighed 85 tons. Concerning our sphere, of course, you have the questions of who, when, why, and especially how. But I submit we have another question. How was that sphere transported? Okay, now the shuttle takes up a much larger surface area. So the flatbed of that tow truck it has an area that it can support the shuttle and it can carry it. But something like our sphere, in comparison, the surface area of our sphere is 10 square meters. So you're looking at a very, very much smaller object, much smaller in size than the Endeavour space shuttle. So what method was used? And by the way, in our next episode, we're going to use physics and mathematics to look at the amount of work and the power that was required by this huge machine, this tow truck, to transport the Endeavour space shuttle at 85 tons. And then we're going to say, okay, how many human beings would it take to be able to move the sphere? How much power? How many average human beings? And where would they apply that force? Where would they apply the force that's needed to move an object? Again, we have a lot to do with these spheres.
I want to show you in this video that even if I use these tools, a chisel and a hammer, it is really hard to shape them as right. Look at those tools. They are real ones. Of course, I'm not trying to destroy nature. I was just trying to show you how hard it is to form, to give a different form to that rock. So again, we ask ourselves or we ask each other, how were the spheres made that perfectly? They are rounded and they are perfectly rounded. So this is amazing. This is something really strange. Well, first I have a friend who have been in the Borucas area, and they have talked to them, and they told him that probably the spheres were made by the gats. Actually, the gats threw the spheres, and that they were able to predict eclipses. So the
Wow.
spheres, and they are in that location and on those in those places because they can predict eclipses. So it's more
Wow.
like decoration. They are a calendar. They are supposed to be a calendar. And let's
I,
let's think about that time, those ancient times where there was only the Maya calendar, and the Bruncas or the Gats created the eclipse calendar.
that is so amazing. That's so interesting.
Right.
I didn't know that the spheres were specifically had been connected to eclipses. I mean, I knew that there was many theories that they had an astronomical as well as
Uh-huh.
astrological significance,
Hmm.
but unfortunately, yes, because many of them have been removed from their original locations, it's very hard to
Uh-huh.
determine that
Some of
now.
them.
But you got to think that they definitely their positions are not just willy nilly. They weren't just placed here and there. There's a reason. There was a significance. And wow. And let me ask you this: you said lunar eclipse as opposed to solar eclipse, correct?
Right. Hmm.
Very interesting.
They said that
Very interesting.
if they look through the spheres in a specific position, you can, well, actually, the Borucas could predict the eclipses
Wow.
just by seeing through the spheres. Yeah, that's amazing. That's awesome.
That's unreal. Wow.
Hmm.
That is unreal. This definitely requires further looking into. I mean, I this is my first time hearing that they had a connection with astronomy in that manner in terms of a lunar eclipse. Okay,
Hmm.
that's we've added another item to our to our list of things to explore. Um,
Right. Study.
about the fact that these primitive people they did physics, kinematic, rotational, kinematic, rotational motion as opposed to straight line motion where you have more friction sliding something across the surface as opposed to just rolling it. There is the ingenuity of the human being.
Yes, definitely. Borucas hide or keep lots of information, amazing information. And also another important thing that I would like to mention is that they say that before the technology came to the village, they used to gather, all the villagers used to gather to hear the stories of the elders. So probably they don't know now how to use the spheres because now we have technology and we're supposed to. to predict eclipses or to yes, to predict eclipses with our technology, with recent technology,
Yes,
right?
satellites and yes, yes,
Right.
yes.
Hmm.
Uh, it's all good. Modern technology, and to couple that with ancient knowledge, can you imagine the portals? And I want to use that word. Can you imagine the portals that could be opened by combining that knowledge base? Uh, and so, again, this is part of our show. We have no bounds. And when I said the Twilight Zone meets Cosmos, this is exactly what I meant. I meant not discounting what ancient peoples said. I mean, they knew what they were talking about.
When you said how the Borucas used to gather and the knowledge would be communicated to the community
Hmm.
by the elders.
Right.
And then they stopped doing that when
Hmm.
modern technology came into the picture.
Hmm.
That discouraged them or they just stopped doing it. Did I get that correct?
Hmm. Right. You're totally right. Right. Also, a problem is that they have lost their language also. And of course, well, even though they are self-governed, they, of course, they have schools in Spanish. So they have lost their language. I suppose there should be some books or written about this astrological knowledge, but probably they don't even know how to read them.
Right? But no, but we have our current day. You know what's so cool about our spheres? It's just as an
Uh-huh.
enigma. They're just as an enigma as they were
Totally.
1930s, back further. I mean, they are unsolved. We have a priceless
Uh-huh.
mystery right here. Okay.
Yes.
And nowhere else in
Totally.
the world.
Totally.
Totally. Totally.
Totally.
Okay.
And yes, it's amazing, and I think it should be true because they they told the stories like missing their elders. So they wish to keep them and to keep those stories still alive.
How how ironic that modern technology with satellites and all that led to them not continuing to get together as a community and have the elders to communicate that ancient knowledge to them. Huh? And can I ask you this, Mariela? Why do you think
Sure.
the advent the advent of modern technology and satellites and all them that made them think that they no longer needed to honor the ancient traditions of listening to the elders and listening to the knowledge that they had and and learning that knowledge so that they could perpetuate that knowledge to future generations.
Well, now I can tell as a teacher, as a mother, as an adult with experience, most of the times teenagers believe or young people believe that they know more than the elders and that they know everything.
Yeah. So whether you're in the United States or in the Boruca village, teenagers
Right.
will be teenagers, right? Unbelievable, right?
Totally.
And we
Totally.
all were there. We all were there. We were
Right.
all knuckleheads that nobody could
Hmm.
tell anything to. We knew what everything was. We knew everything we wanted to do, and we're so clueless, so clueless. So,
Right.
and all right, well, okay.
Well, I can tell that Borucas is a great village. It's a great community that we should continue studying and learning about them. and of course investigating because we're not going to finish. And
I
every
have a
time you
sorry.
you find something new, you get amazed.
I have a question. When your friend was
Right?
told what he was told, did he use any kind of special method? Like, did he take them something like a gift or something?
He didn't tell me anything about it.
Okay, because this
No,
is
he
my
didn't tell
thought.
me. He didn't mention that.
Okay, okay. You know, my original idea, I had said that when the time comes that we can actually form a group and take a trip to the Boruca village, I thought maybe we could take
Right.
some laptops, take some laptops. But
Right.
now that I know that technology made them stop doing what they were doing, maybe that's not the best idea. Right? Maybe not.
Well, at least
No,
our
don't
cell
want to do
phones.
that. What's that? I'm sorry. What'd you
At
say,
least
Mariela?
let's take our cell phones. Our cell
Okay.
phones.
We can't go wrong with that, right?
Yes,
Oh,
I think so.
okay, okay.
Probably, and I heard that they are eager to receive tourists. They really
Oh,
need
there we go.
incomes.
Well, all
Yes.
right. Well, there we go. Okay. Look out, Boruca, because here we come. All right.
And thank you everyone who's watching and listening to us.
And everybody, you're with us as we continue our adventure of exploration and discovery into the spheres, right? Every week you're with us. We're like one big group finding out what maybe nobody else has found out before. All right.
Their language, is it Spanish or is it another
No,
language?
it's another language.
Totally
Different
different.
language. Totally
Oh,
different.
that's so it's not Costa Rican Spanish, East LA
No,
Spanish, Spain Spanish. Oh,
no,
that
not
is
at all.
just too cool. So we will need a special interpreter.
Right.
Okay. All right. So we're going to set it in motion ahead of time, start gathering our materials as an introduction to the tribe, approach them in a respectful way and get an audience. When we approach the Boruca, that's something that we want to present to them. Okay. Oh, we're going to have a full on package. And again, what occurred to me was if there's an intentional effort to ignore the immense knowledge that these indigenous peoples may have, oh, we're going to try to help them regain it. We're going to try to help them get it back to the best of our ability, right? Using physics and mathematics, huh? We're going to put together a very logical plan of approach to step to them with, give them reasons why we're there to talk to them, right? Let them know how special they are in all the world. Let them know that they're really not well known, not only in the rest of the world, but in their right here in Costa Rica. Why is that? I mean, they're a national treasure. The spheres are a national treasure, which, yeah, it's a UNESCO site. But so much is written on the Great Pyramids of Egypt. So much is written on Chichen Itza and Teotihuacan. So much is written on Beijing and the pyramids that have been found there, I believe buried. So much is written about Machu Picchu. So much is written about all these sites in the Near East, Africa. First, we're going to make sure that the Boruca realize what they have and how important it is to try to get that back for the whole world. A piece of ancient knowledge. You are an original member of the FAT Pack, right? FAT, Physics with Attitude. Enjoying physics as the amazing window into our amazing world of nature
and mathematics as the tool to open that window. Next week, tune in, same fat time, same fat channel.